Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's menka? Yeah, no one mama soon at. Let me see my mic. Testing my mic. Audio testing. Testing. Can you it is? Testing. And it mama yini komobi. Testing. Default micro. Which one is it? Okay. As long as you can hear me, okay. Mami hwɛ adeɛ wɔ ha no moment testing. Ɛna yɛbɛdi nkɔmmɔ. Me say yɛn leaders no ɛyɛ aboro anaasɛ ɛyɛ wei ɛna ɔmo de di yɛn wɔ Ghana hɔ. Onua a wohwɛ me mesrɛ wo wɔ video no so. Ɛna yɛbɛdi nkɔmmɔ. Me invite Dr. Suga aba sɛ wote me nka a ɛyɛ a na wama. Okay, good. You can hear me okay. Onua share video no ne yɛnkɔ na ɛna yɛbɛdi nkɔmmɔ afa Ghana ho na yɛaka nsɛm bi yɛba bɛkyerɛ adeɛ. Ebi mo te Ghana ɔmo nim yɛ amammerɛ no ɔmo nim what constitutes Ghana anaasɛ who are the Ghanaians a ɔmo wɔ Ghana abɔnten no so. Yɛn koraa yɛwɔ akwantuo mu we are called Canadians. Ebi are Black Americans, ebi Germans, and so oye nipa tuntum, uhu nipa tuntum wɔ Germany a, oye Germany just by birth or naturalization or by claim, whatever the laws are. Ɛwɔ hɔ no. Na me se Ghana for no, Ghana yɛn mpanyinfoɔ aboro anaasɛ anaasɛ ejimie because nneɛma bi a sɛbi yɛhwɛ ɛna me se me pia abɔnten so sɛ me se me de abɔnten kyerɛ wo a wankasa koraa bɛfele sorry ama yɛn ɛwɔ hanom me de abɔnten kyerɛ wo wo de maame fa nkyerɛ wo me de abɔnten kyerɛ wo a sɛ wo hu abɔnten no egu hanom so wo hu egu hanom abɔnten no ɛha snow ayɛ hɔ ma nti na nka me se nanso mɛkɔ akɔnante kurom ɛda so ɛɛtɔ cars so nyinaa yɛ wei nti na me say let me stay in na yɛni nkɔmmɔ awo wom sɛ biribi no awo wom papa nti ɛnɛ yɛba bɛdi nkɔmmɔ me wɔ aboɔ kurom me wɔ nsuo so baabi a mete yɛ nsuo na ɛhyɛ asase no ase nanso enipa dasani esan adwen pa a ɔmo wɔ ma enipa a ebegu wei sɛ wotim betimi atena baabi a aborɔfo no gugu kakra no koraa de a ɔmo hia nipa nti no there are certain things a ɛyɛ a na ɔmo de ma wo free there are certain many things ɔmo de ma wo free because ɔmo hia nipa ɔmo nim sɛ ɔmo bɔ wei as enipa ma asa wei asase no sɛ ne ɛbɛyɛ a enipa betimi atena so nti ɛnɛ me ne Dr. Soga ɛna me nua bɛrima bi yɛbɛdidi nkɔmmɔ ɛnɛ wohwɛ Ghana mpanyinfoɔ port hɔ mepatwo hwɛ yie be careful wohwɛ Ghana yɛn port wode nneɛma ba a ɛna me ne obi di Ghana no ya yɛtotɔ nneɛma efiri abrochiman mu ba Ghana no moma me nka asɛm nkyerɛ wo yɛkɔ ebia bi a mɛfa ne sɛ yɛatete nneɛma no so na yɛka Ghanafoɔ yɛ akorɔmfo a ebi a wote Kumase nkɔ baabi a Accra koraa ma hɔ da wote hɔ na wo nso wo shout for more fanana Accra koraa no wo ma hɔ da wote hɔ shout for more fanana nso na unnim ne anana edi nkurɔfoɔ bi mu sɛ yɛde nneɛma fi abrochi ba a nneɛma na yɛde ba no wokɔ store bi a yɛatete so wokɔ store bi a ɔmatete so anaasɛ yɛabɔ ne donkomi So what you say? Ghana for pese omu di wo abro nti no. Wonim na omu akofa price no every internet so do you need to be here? Ese ojina. Menja na me ye ne ma. Omu ko internet so abro eni otan a omu wo ema omu nua nti no. Omu ko internet so na omu akofa price a sebi I to say the insurance bi na akwa claim. It is wickedness and stupidity on the side of Ghanaian leaders. Beside that, people living in Ghana like Adoye and referring to other Ghanaians, they are not Ghanaians, are ignorant, they do not read. Asem no pepepe na wakano onua. Asem no pepepe na wakano. I mean me. Asem no pepepe na wakano yem brother Ben. Asem na wakano. Ai. O de niama akọ Ghana sebi enye se ukoto ye ewo internet so ye wo internet for price me dondo ensuo for me kro a me fia dondo no drum no man say ye insurance for na akọ claim de ne wo ko internet no so na wakofa price ana say wo be shiti aye dada no yes be shiti say omukọ internet so na ekofa sa price na ma why because say you've paid a premium bia omanya ho sika che na Ghana port monkyere me eniema obi onu fi abrochire anase wo a wo Ghana no eniema bia waya amanipa no eno nti a wokọ akọhwe price wo internet so na wo dia charge ho duty we ye friend etimoden. I will give a kudos to TV3. TV3 say omu afa omu Ghana ntoma afra. TV3 station ewo Ghana. Ene oma kire ama Ghana say omu do ama Ghana sempendie. MPP for Johnny Hugh esane nokore anase eniwa a obiebie ewo Ghana nti MPP for edi omunkwasi ade na du ho TV3 said the omudidu angel we a nkwasiafo kwafi krantin o se kwase krantin ni jimie oto ni business na na so oba beye business na se da osun dae no na MPP gina ho se da osun dae so oba beye ni business no tie de o ma kwan ema nkwamma eto ne nimonyam nanso ene TV3 achire say omu ye Ghana for omu business no is for Ghana and not obroni nkwasi ahihye no democratic ntumemu democratic kurase democratic way no omu ye no eye kurase democratic system na Ghana for ye wo Ghana ho ene TV3 me bomo abaso you have shown say uwo tumi ewo corona wote no so na semuyi Johnny Hugh everywhere there. Why are you so mefa ni so obvious Ghana for why you so ade na mana daddy say mu ye mbaifo MPP for ye gani politics na mo ye wo no ene ye ba beka ye nua be me bia is it Khalifa mama menka asem we Khalifa owo US wonya hopeless adoye abelefu ewo wo phone so na hopeless ayigbeni another minority a wono asantwini akaniba omo fo say ombedi akon omo bedi akon wo Ghana when their ignorance get into their head wo asantini wi wonam na when you don't pay what to taste so na wakototo baby aji nyankopon na kasegu dompe no biom say Elijah na kasegu dompe no so na so ene omu ni wo biom mudemu nimu de ene mo spiritual side no mu de di dokono into hopeless eya mane nka wo age hopeless adoye me nka wo age biom because 52 years old you look like a 63 I'm telling you, as a 52 years old hopeless adoye, when you potholes bebrebe, and what you look so tired and so drained. Esan chrono, obo chrono, this is how you look. You don't age gracefully. As a 52-year-old yakasa, or so ye youth. Wahu Jimmy Samono san baby a day chrono no. Inti Khalifa nya a hopeless adoye, and crofomi enua, omonka omokasa. Hopeless feel say ne ho kakra bi ade ne ho esan say ye de nyano edi egu ho fi say we ya igbeni na so wagye atum nti wakoka group bi mu ho a hopeless feel say otitwi nti hopeless ba be kire Khalifa twi say or say he was only referring to Abraham Moshe nti say ya Abraham Moshe nkoten na wo refer dia Khalifa ene wo ye dede for you to agree with hopeless. Say, I was referring to Abraham Moshe. It is not to all Mosifo. Emma, you agree. Khalifa agree. Say, oh, only Abraham Moshe nkuna ekasa. What untikasa say? Ignorant. Untikasa. You see, when one person, if the one person, what would say Ghana for? You see, when you don't represent a number of people, what Jimmy? But the language itself, the law within the language, has already covered the Moses to Abraham Moshe as one per one say one language I say one chi as one brofo. The language, one person as a Ghanaian, obi catch them say, you Ghanaian fool. You are referring, the language is embedded and has a claim. It has acclaimed all Ghanaians because I represent Ghana. But mo hu Jimmy nkurase potoye pesemenkumunya Jimmy no one say you are I had to say or single way Abraham Moshe trying to justify what he said. But mamika semichiro etumi ewo kasa emuno temu nananumu you don't hear nananumu voices intino. When we say after the wayara language, referring to Mosi, Ghana, so come back to Nikuromuno, you are indirectly telling the Mosis, you need to go back to Chi, and I say, go back to your language. When we say we hopeless adoye, wakoka ofo se otichi, ena Khalifa nsunsuwa. Also, one kasa ukron kasa anso a wonte for this person. So I'm not talking to all the Moses, You see, the law speaks louder. The laws, the language is the law that God has given you authority over those things. But once you stop listening to the God, you lose control over the language, which is you do the things it does not make sense or register because the world is pure. So when you do fail to go out of order, which is what hopeless adoye, or see or you refer to Abraham Moshe and Khalifa so ajiatum into any frafo mienu and ye jai dede no internet so because o kan ba ko a waka omo nyina. That is the language. That is the power and authority in language. So, who can me to Canada? Nasa who be can say, who di me Ghana? Ghana is a group of Ghana and yes singular. Ghana, asase. One Jimmy and Jimmy. One hopeless. One will say, what Jimmy? When you say Mosi is not a singular word. It is a singular on its own under an umbrella, but a nipa a Mosi. So untimi nkasa enti Mosi enye a person. Mosi a group of people. Mosi a country, a tribe, a tradition. E won krofo bi meboa. Enti mo say mo Jimmy. and then the way this way yeah me the main term the ni nyina egu ha nti wo ka Ghana you are not talking to a one person nti wo ka say me Ghana ni me Jimmy na say Ghana ni te ho na say wa Jimmy nti no esan say ne a wo bedi ene ne a ye wa foodie nti no say wo nko mame a kan say ye ne wo nso kasa because a country is not a singular. A country is a whole, it's a country, Canada. Na se uka Canadians no can nipa no ho. Na uka Canada, a nipa gu. Now you are being specific by referring as a Canadian. Inti Khalifa, also the no. One language na se Ghana, you see, a sign say no entity any bue and I pesa ye de bremo because it's saying a hanumu they teaches very well. Mamin kanchiro when you have control over your language, you are able to discern, identify, articulate it. So now a kasa hutumia, you will be defiled, you will be manipulated into your kakasa one because a kasa we keke hopeless kind so oni mosi oni uka mosia unka edin ka ho mosi represent a country into mosi is mosi fo nyina nti Khalifa mesrɛw akono wanko ne yie because osi mosi oye mosini na mosifuo no santete ya no entitimu ne paapaamu no eno na ema kuro ebutu ye ena me ne me doctor Soga ye ba bedidi hu nkomo na ya kyerɛw Ghana who are Ghanaians so what you say nua omo baby a ye nyina ye fifiri a ya behie mu wa ha Canada ha abrofo no free omukuro mu beto Canada no ene America land ni nyina no na ye won krofo bi a na omote ha dada ye from Red Indians ene politically no ene niama ye the way ayaka de abrofo no didi omunti no ya ma omo the indigenous omama omo mefa ne say etumi oma san de omo baton sane Africa for UK for de yen we artifacts niama UK for no abrofo no be wiaye no afa de oma gye atum say mo ye be wia mo ye de mo ade be ba mba sa na ha no mo esan eni yakayaka de abrofo no di ready this and then from the indigenous people of the indigenous people of the land referring all who inhabited the land. So what you say, Ghana, we are going to teach you the indigenous Ghanaians. Nye waso me de Dr. Soga baba ahoma no so. Na munti asem kakra because nkwasiankeka ene yensua de enti no amane ama papa nyina adwane afikuro no so o se Ben o se please do not even mention that Khalifa name another ignorant or say troglodyte that can't you see the way he talks yeah em so no kora no yare bi cause unidentify something nyankopon hira mo nyina na ye ba besua ade ye ba besua ade bi na yensua Ghana emra back because when we talk about Ghana refers to group of people and then yebesua who are those group of people no nyame nhira mo Dr. Akwa babiom and then ye daben and then Tuesday ana and then Wednesday
Tuesday 28
dates no krampo ye hu
December
show you
Christmas Saturday Christmas na ma and then cry basa.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes. Oh. Me tiefo ni ahwefo nyina edapa edanyame ase se osai amayen ahoden na enedai yesan etenkwam na ensama ezia ekoso no amase obi ka se onukpa behia opanyin ni fie nti no sebe nsemhunu nko ana ekoso wo yamangan na em say many wedding komo bi na mka say ye kase Ghana no enye oman ti mami ya se nkyerɛ Ghana nye oman obia nye Ghana ni because Ghana no abrofo na wɔn ba ya wɔn ba chiche ya asase no de artificial boundary ɛto hɔ no and wɔn ma saa artificial boundary no as Gold Coast nti Gold Coast no ɛna Nana Kwame Nkrumah wɔsesa no kora de ɛyɛ no Ghana na nti at this point no it's just an artificial landmark. And it's a artificial landmark. And it's a country, but it's not a nation. And there's a big difference between a nation and a country. Because Abrofono Bayern, there were nations already. Now Bayern, they disregarded the fact that Nipa and Sasa who are nations, who are natives of that land, and therefore that land is a nation. The word nation comes from the word natives. So a group of natives who come together to govern themselves become a nation. What do you say? Okay. And Ghana is not a nation. Ghana is a country by artificial demarcation. And it's a Nukrasi Ghana near. Obia in terms of nativity Ghana for and yet Ghana is not a nation, it's a country by artificial demarcation. What you say? Because womo assassin so ansana obroni no ebe demarcate assassin in 1884 that now they were a nation of their own. Enti eneno regional abrofo womo demarcate say ye friend Gold Coast ansana Nana Kwame Nkrumah sisan ye no Ghana no. Nasa wait me who said it is a group of native people who have been split apart. For instance, Yemfa Ewe Usha Ewe. Now there was an Ewe nation, expanded from Volta region through Togo, through Benin, through southwestern Nigeria. And I crown Upa Nigeria Hokakra Eko the northern tip of Cameroon, Ukura Congo. You will also find some people there who speak some derivation of Ewe. And idea abrofunu ba ya no womo abetiti mu aya ne basa. Now, and now we share ye Ghana demarcation ye omodi aya ne se Ghana no. Woman and net just assassin so as natives and sana obroni no bechicha assassin. Now mommy a dagbonfo. Ana guan a hunter for. Now Santifo crowd they were not part of that native land at the beginning. As Santifo they migrated from somewhere else. And this ye ka womo ye Ghana for nankasa. Asantifo nka womo ana Ghana for Ghana womo asase no Dagbon northern region they call upper west nomini no enti Mamprusi Nanumba Dagomba Konkomba Sankrofo no Mosifo no so ka ho now said ya medidi kan na brofo no bechiche ye mu no ntino yes artificial demarcation no ena manchichemu aba nti wokọ northern Togo Mosifo na northern Togo no womo doso se Mosifo a Ghana ba no nkyerɛ sɛ Mosini a artificial Ghana no onya Ghana ni because for some reason we have accepted that artificial boundary created by Obroni no so we accepted that enti no obie ni ho a obeti owo kwan be ka kire obi se obi nya Ghanani because wo nipa na wo kasa asem no se ye ka nationhood a wo so nya Ghanani. At currently no obia the only way I meet me akaso obia Ghanani no is anyone in terms of nativity no or accepting the nation the country as a nation no. Only those who were born after 1957 are Ghanaians. Strictly terms, no anthropological terms, only those who were born after 1957 are Ghanaians. Because Sesiano, sa demarcation na abeda hono. And sa demarcation, you were born within that demarcation. And you know, strictly speaking, anybody who was born within the artificial demarcation of the land, you know, with that Edino is a Ghanaian. And so let's make that straight. Niameka no tiase.
Matias yepa na kire say Ghana no before no na ye nation.
Correct.
Na Africa fo ankasa wo omo ahemfo.
Kingdoms ne empires ne
Empires
correct.
no na ye nation. Ena
Yes.
obroni mu baaye na opese obewia yen ne obechiche mu because abrofo no omo namadodo ene
Yeah.
cousins ne omo ebaaye nti omo bechiche ye mu yan na yefre no the partition of African way no.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no mu chiche ye mu na omo ana omo te Ghana nsa na sa partition ne baaye no northern side of Ghana for no.
Correct.
Which
And the southern side, you know, a hunter in Guan for and an air and enti eka denchirafo so eka ho. Enti na we share history na denchirafo ne asantifo no omo pan because asantifo no eba e no mpeso mo be fa denchirafo asase. Enti na denchirafo ne asantifo no na omo ta kopa. Ani adansefo nso.
Adansefo denchira na asantifo.
Correct.
Okay. No mo ta ko.
Enti na asantifo no omo de omo nka the original nation no na omo nka ho. Kra. So there was a Denchira nation, which is a British foreign Denchira kingdom. There was a Dancy kingdom. There was the Hunter kingdom. There was the Dagbon kingdom, and so on and so forth. So, and you know, these were the nations that were there in West Africa. And now, Cote d'Ivoire, who say a Hunter Fonso, Cote d'Ivoire, Bebre. Which Liberia, a Hunter Fonso, Liberia, Bebre. But kakra bi na just said and then and most of the times you know interesting uko Gambia kra you will find a lot of hunters in Gambia because krobi wo a Gambia your friend no Lamin in chen area ho nyina no na a hunter for fishermen nkwa na ye homa
inti mama mi se wasa hopeless oya egbeni ba na ono ka kire Mosini se Mosi enye Ghanani na onko back to the kurum ayese me ye Ghanani by law by citizenship I am a Canadian because I have my citizenship. We have people who were born in Canada. Can a Canadian, even Grandpa Red Indian, bet me catch the me maybe say, me yet Canadian, intimenko back to me krum. Canada for ye for and watch Ghana who are the Ghanaians. Can this guy tell anybody in Ghana so omunye Ghana for?
Mpacho me ba otimenka.
Metonka.
But mentionka. Entino.
Oza.
Mpacho kosune kasa na ma be 2 minutes. Na me refresh it me.
Okay. Etiefo Dr. Sogana o tie no ene oni ye di nkomo a kire yen. Emra na Ghana fo na yen yete yen kuro mu Ghana no Ghana na yen me na ni ho krobofo ma no na we northern part of north fo ena south for which is we denchirane we for no na asante for nso mayo omo na ye from omo na omo ye the kingdom the African kingdoms no mo kingdoms ansa na omo wo ho now abrofo ne ba ye no no mbe partition Ghana any Africa ebe chiche ye mu se ne ebe ya we ni nua befa ha we ni nua nso betimi afa ha because na egudie wo gold wo hwe bauxite abrofo ne hu ye said the way na ye nkro no aye green na egudie wom ikwaye no mu na egudie no mo so mo pesa lifestyle no eno nti eno mo be chiche Africa mu ena weifo no ba bia togofo no omo na omo etua esorofo no ho nti wo hwe kora na hopeless adoye no ka kire obi so onye Ghana ni no hwe kora na ono no onye Ghana ni hopeless adoye no nka Ghana ho Kwame Nkrumah ba ye ya Kwame Nkrumah abrofo ni gya ye ho no sa omo we togofo no ni aigbefo no wo soro no mo ka soro hofo no nti Kwame Nkrumah nti na omo de omo wo mfimfini na Frenchfo no na omo dominate ho no na Kwame Nkrumah sign ye say omo no they first of all omo ben Ghana nti omo ne Ghana abom nti Ghana fo ensign we say igbefo no name north ways southern way for no omo ka Ghana fo ho ansa na Kwame Nkrumah sign ye nti wo hwe pa nobody including hopeless adoye nanso me kire wade bi mu from beginning ni say Ghana fo no ho ye di yan abro I to say akola a wotete no na de bia o ka kire ni say wo wanimu tantan they tend to believe so manimu nso wotan akola wotete obi anasa woni wukunu menim obi a waye be ma ne te say ekura wa ma na ye kete aboto because of nano nti hopeless adoye menim so ompe ayigbe ho line no em say bi mu omano te say oma oppress no nti ono no feel say now no he is part of the elite nti no look at ayigbe ni ono ba be ka kire the indigenous people of Ghana indigenous people of Ghana northern region for no say ono no enye Ghana ni ye nyina ye ahoho eno na Dr. Soga an anthropologist wa ba Ghana nya Canada ha enya US no kosua ade na ade fio the world evolved ye intertwined connected somehow ye nyina ye free baby entokwanti na ye bepie nkronkro ye nyina so obroni na wo krom ha no kra na ha anya ne dia Canada ha ne dia US ho nyom dia Jewish fo dominate ho nyom dia entokwanti ye hyehye wo nyina na mo dwane ba ho wo hwe obroni Columbus we na no free fa no be discover US as no oba na nkrofo bi te ho dada these are the people we refer to as indigenous. Dr. Mr. Ansana Okono na ujina we bi so nti I hope say woteme nka sese.
Metunka.
Okay.
Yeah. Enti na American. Na will be some question bi. Na will be some asemi na misanu mo na just say.
Na me bisa asenti hopeless adoye ono no by history no na onka aigbefo sa aigbefo so ya aigbe ni dia na aigbefo kra dia na omo ewefo no is it aigbe we are ewes not aigbe okay cheche me mu because ewe any aigbe which ones were part and all those things aye nyina ya bebo abaye nua ewe area ho nti no
ewe no it is the main identity of the people but enchichemu no and can say ayigbe those in the north and those in the south.
Doctor,
there's ayigbe and then there's vegbe.
No, mami explain ade we ansa na me refi. Mami Gloria. Ayi krobofo any ayigbefuo
no yeah baako actually.
Yeah baako. na yen papa ohene ana yen owo sa kro na yen ye free so ba Ghana no ono oka kro no bedu Ghana na ye behu se Ghana ye no na omoto ahenkoafo ko krom na ayen papa ayi owo no na ayi edi nkra eba omode ne ba no na obewu ye owu no nkra omode ba ye ne se ayi gbe wayi no egbo ewawu na ye de ye ayigbefuo na omumtamute ye because of that way no mo kan ho ba ye no ayigbe fuo no sauti ase ayi niema eka omu ene yen papa yen hene ayi ubesha usha weifuo no part of the Gan area na unse omu fre enkrofo bi mu ayi nti ayigbefuo no it is part of the ewe we no na in papa mu ne nchichemu no wa unse obi nso kirekire yemu wa say ayigbe any ewe eye separate papa mama we are all one na due to separation na yen papa ohene na nka esa nka oni yen ba Ghana no wama ye de nkraba no na emu be che ye ya igbefo sa na santefo se anso antenfo no wo ma maso ante asem no chechemu de bebre kwa so papa koso mame doc koso mame na ye besu ade
yeah enti enya ayigbe no derogatory but ewe enti na ka ewe nation the ewe nation no na ewe for na yewo Gan nation na yewo Ahanta Gwan nation na yewo Denchira nation na yewo Dagbon nation na yewo Nanumba Dagomba nation enti hopeless adoye asma wo kan sabi nsemhunu so wo enne wo bebie wano aka se obi nya Ghana ni and it's a typically ye kan and you obi anya Ghana ni see you see ye based on kasa wo kan dia and you obi anya Ghana ni but because of a artificial partitioning na abrofo no odi abehye ye man suntino eno na ma se na ye wo kro na o man ye frɛ no Ghana nka typically no me kran Ghana no me friend say your man but for the sake of where we are today no we just take it say okay that is our country but it's not a nation very different it is not a nation because a nation is made up of native people so and into see the native people of Ghana there then those who were born because the word native comes from being born nativity in French you say il est né à Canada or whatever which means he was born
Canada
Canada right that's it that word no is from the word to be born nativity nativity of the Lord the birth of the Lord and your birth land is where you are from and this year kase Ghana the answer so obi a ya wo no ewo enne oman ya chichiri sa Ghana no ono na ye Ghana ni enti basi ye ka based on kasa wo kan dia ani obi anya Ghana ni ani obi ano you are a native person of the language you speak and if you are an Ewe you are from Ewe land or the Ewe kingdom if you are a Gan you are from a Gan kingdom if you are a Dagomba you are from the Dagomba kingdom and so on and so forth and technically and I say technically in reality womo Ghana for no were those who were born after the land was renamed Ghana simple and short because you are a native you were born in Ghana.
Okay, so what about those who came after that? Because Kwame Nkrumah, the constitution clarifies who Ghanaians are. Me and Americano, yeah, woman Ghana, but I'm a Canadian by citizenship. Constitution also says something of that effect. Say, after they have claimed the land and my friend say, enter into world it's a democratic system, no, there was some clarification of who are Ghanaians. Inti obi a yawo no, like you said, obi a ne maame akọ, one of the parents must be a Ghanaian, or yawo no outside, or someone who came to Ghana and claimed refugee and has been living in Ghana for more than 10 years or so of
And
that sort.
naturalized, yeah.
Naturalization. Okay. So then my question is, who are we now excluding as non-Ghanaians? Why such strong feeling by some people? Why such hatred by some people? Why do we really want to exclude? Because this is what has caused Ghana big time. And no you should the mechanism that they used was a government. I may say democratic system, which is politics. Almost use politics to divide. But do we feel say a bimu nye Ghana for? I don't get it.
It's out of ignorance because they don't know. Na unim say woman na woman eye asasefoɔ nankasa no woman nye hehehehe woman nye hyehyehyehyehye woman prepare woman ho woman a woman nye asasefoɔ no woman asase ne nya woman dia no ya woman pɛ woman de patapa etum woman na eye dede so ho edua atuntin esi hɔ no mframa bo a ɛkɔ no bro edua enni ntini no mframa bo a ane di fo sa that is people like Hopeless Adoye. They don't have roots in Ghana. Okay, they don't have roots. That's why they are making noise about who is a Ghanaian and who is not. So enti sadia yebua say historically all Ghanaians were settlers and hunter-gatherers and wanderers from Timbuktu, Songhai, Dahomey, Sudan, Nigeria. Okay, Yebua, you are somehow correct, but somehow incorrect because there were native Ghanaians. There were native, not Ghanaians. There were natives on the land before it became Ghana. There were natives. As I mentioned before, the Dagbon people were natives. The Guan Ahanta people were natives. So, and you know, yes, there are some of us who migrated, i.e., Airways, Gans, from Anna Asantefo. So, but there are natives on the land before Obrunino, Eba, yes, or Baba, trade near Dino. Now there were already natives there. And then the Ashantis migrated, you know, also there in the early between 11th, 12th centuries. So, but before that, you know, there were native people, and the Dagbon people are one of the main people who were natives in the land. Before even Crown, it became named as Gold Coast. By the time Nona, it was known as Dagbon land, Dagbon Kingdom.
Okay.
So, into before say Abrofon Krababe and name area as Gold Coast, you know. And actually, Crown, one more Gold Coast, you know. The Gold Coast was only in the southern area, a free Cape Kita area, the far a Buri top, Kuyapim Mountains near Adeno, all the way down to the Axim area. That was the original Gold Coast. The northern part wasn't. It was later on when they were now partitioning for land, you know, that's when they partitioned the Dagbon, the Northern Territory, as part of the Gold Coast. So, but initially, you know, now it was only that southern central part. And there were natives there before the Europeans came to trade, and then they later on, because the trading took place started around the 15th, 16th century. So we are talking 1525 to all the way to 1800s, until the end of the slave trade. Until after the end of the slave trade, no, and decides, okay, if we are going to give up the slave trade, then we need to make sure that at least we have the land.
Okay. So my
Uh-huh.
question is Timbuktu. I keep hearing that name a lot. Where
Aye.
were they originated? Because it looks like no no ne wo we
Timbuktu is in the north.
north, yeah,
Yeah,
the northern
yeah,
part of Africa. Yeah,
yeah,
more because Swahilis and all those from Arabia, Niger,
yeah.
Singhai, and Timbuktu.
Timbuktu, Djibouti,
Timbuktu,
all those areas. No? Yeah,
yeah,
it
north,
was
yeah,
in the
boy.
north. Yeah.
Because I worked in Afrocentric, and the northern part they have, that's where actually the oldest university, that is where it derived actually from, and also Swahilis and other. We from the western part of Africa are from, it's a totally say way for more. Omono, they went and settled there. You know, they were originals, of course. It's part of the South Africans and all those. But Timbuti is in Mali. He said is in Mali. Timbuti. No, enye Mali, Papa. Enye Mali, because I have so many of those way for
Okay.
no.
One who said, and then an American said, because of the partitioning, it brings a lot of confusion. So
Confusion.
we are
Yeah.
now talking about modern geographical locations, but the ancient geography, it didn't include a certain country partitioned by the European. So, and I am talking about the original native townships and nations. I am not talking about the European partition of the African continent. Today we call them countries. No, that's not what I'm talking about. In terms of uh, Timbuktu, no, Timbuktu used to be a former part of the former Egyptian empire, and then
Mm-hmm.
later on, the Carthage Empire claimed Timbuktu. And the reason why Arab were able to conquer that region was because Obi a near friend of Romulus, he was a rebel, a brigand who fought with his rebel group and captured the Carthage Empire, which is Carthage Empire was the northern part of Africa, a free Libya, Algeria, Somalia, Mauritania, Morocco, Western Sahara, Chad, that area. All those areas used to be, your friend is saying, Carthage Empire. And then when the Carthage was conquered by the Romans, then they annexed all of that region as part of the Roman Empire. So Rome became the new empire, and Carthage became a province of the Roman Empire. And initially, there was no Algeria, there was no Morocco, there was none of that until the partitioning came. It was only after the partition that we now have these geographically demarcated countries. Oh.
Okay. So the bottom line is, Yeboah, Ghana, we are all settlers, like you said. Um, Senia Oka originated, and there was nobody here there. And you're not, the Aboriginals were also not here in Canada or in
There were
America.
settlers, there were natives, and
Yeah.
there were natives in the land before it became Ghana, before even the so when the British, the Europeans came, the Portuguese and the Spanish, when they came in the 15th century, there were people there. And I may explain it to you, said there were people there already. At that time, it was not called Ghana. It was not even called Gold Coast. It was the Dagbon Kingdom, and it was the Ahanta Guan Kingdom. These were the people that traded with the Portuguese, okay, in the 1600s. Actually, from 1525 AD. And you know, the people who were there at that time, no, these were the Ahantas and the Guans. The Ashantis were not even a part of it initially. Wow, it was later on Kran Sana. Asantefoɔ no ɛyɛ no wɔn any British foɔ no ɛbɛnya a conflict kakra no, so they decided to work with the British and to help the British get what they want. That's how come they took Obuasi away from the Adansi people. Obuasi originally was not part of Ashanti region. It wasn't. It wasn't part of the Ashanti kingdom. It belonged to the Adansi kingdom. And then the Ashantis, because of their warring behavior and friend is saying, their ambition, they were able to wage war against the Adansi people and took that the Obuasi region away from them, because that's where the gold was, and so they took that over and were trading with the British people.
Okay.
There were original people. There were natives. Anything American said, I was talking about nation. So there was a nation before, say, Ghana, the land became demarcated.
Okay, Yabua, I just want us to, you see, this, when we are doing history started from somewhere. Before, no, we are talking about since things were put down, and non Emma Ghana for yan dream in a because and is true. We are all migrated from somewhere. We all came from somewhere. Said there will be a buy free baby ne buy, but obinsu free baby. You say who dying ufo se ufiewa obinsu dear would the let's not make it argument to throw out your point and then what doctor is saying. Doctor is saying exactly what you're saying, but language is a bitch when you don't learn your own thing. It is one of those things that robs you from the truth. So what you're saying is true. Near Dr. Kanoya, the same thing as what you're saying, but because of language, it's coming out as if say you are speaking different thing. Before Ghana became a country, was one, a nation, which was true. Whether Djibouti or Timbuktu or whatever, no, we are trying to find something that belongs to us. And a Abeye argument, but this is the truth. Ghanaians, obi ebaye and san obi baye. So whether they are from somewhere, obedu and san obi bedu ye. So that is establishment I just want to make. Neopa said before the partition, there were people on the land. There were people who came before Ashanti. There were people, at least he said, you witnessed the arrival of the guns. So people were there before the guns. So that means you are right. And what doctor is saying is accurate history because he that's what he studies. So what we're trying to say, he said, nobody is original Ghanaians. Obi ntimi claimu Ghana. Said the even Aboriginal for Mugu Kromu and Sum Tuntimin claimu Canada. No. But nature mu claim before the Aborofone came. So it doesn't really matter. The argument stops right here. Say, we are all Ghanaians. The argument, hana ese ye agree, hana ese ye jitum, hana ese woneme ye kan yentum abom, nania opeso odim pape muba no numum ye ataki ono. Because Canada and all developed countries attacked such behaviors and they nip it and they become a law. You cannot. It should be against the law. It should be against the law. So one utters a word against a group's religions and individuals and their beliefs. Because Mamika Samcho, Onipa without a belief is a zombie. Onipa without a foundation or belong to a group becomes a zombie. Or say, you must belong to somewhere. Either say we are share and say we you know, and to me say no, mean to me cocas and yenta yama yara yara no yen teach them. into a phone say oni yo for nenam into be hu Ghana ni ba na o say yo eno enyina ye de tete ho a afọ de obi nim baby ofri Ghana for ma enim baby ofri amu free wa kwantuo mu because we don't teach them, we argue too much. Wobi ke bibia na ye pesa ye nso ye de ye no ekọ konka ne de, but we all should agree say Ghana belongs to all of us as long as you are born through whether you are citizen through neutralization, through birth, or through citizenship, whatever the law edikan ye nyina bo mu Kwame Nkrumah nyansan mu odikan ye nyina. Let's rest that one. Nia doctor kano I agree because he say obi ehun se nkranfo eti boat mu e na omo akeka omo abom na omo ayese nkran e na omo say they can tomo nga ye nkran e na yaye ne nkranfo. Inti that is a history, it is a sweet one. Enya ade e say ye di atem e sweet. It is a teaching, it is a learning opportunity for all of us to learn that. And then ye can't some di atem rather than say ye di teaching. Mama Gloria, or see we people from Volta, we never tell someone in Ghana that they are sa kwa no nye vote ni o. Me so ya akwe biba Mama Gloria or ya akwe biba until this man came with that nonsense talk. Me who are you beni the most religious, the most disciplined yesro. And until that eastern region for the target say you are disciplined. Who Mommy Gloria, ye who because we are disciplined. Ye nkrumba ye nsasema. So mommy ye boy, what Ghana needs is a way pluribus inum out of many ones. Or say that is why no one ethnic group can claim a dominance and superiority over another ethnic. That is the law that works in a developed world. No human being is above anybody. Period. But Ghana no. Yedi ya no di nkrofo atama nipa. She miss enanu be church assembly mesi nipa nyame bo yen. Say yen beda esu na nanom omo ye hunhum no omo pese yen ye be ye mbosom nti wa wote wo ye bosom na onam ho brabehwe kromu ha abuomu. They challenge themselves. The impossible becomes possible for kromu ha developed world. She nsio so ayesisi dan she in abuomu brabehwe kromu ha abu me say anka mountains anka Kuapi mountains aye radi anka mansions anka honomu aye for rich people. Kuapi mountains na wo anka wujira brabehwe ekuro bi ya me course wa hanano mountain kro me se wonam highway no so na kwa ade ni si ho te say ba kohwe dan a obroni akam asiso kohwe dan engineer wo papa wo nana na ye betentam no kohwe nan a ye blacks ya be boa obroni kro be hwe brains wa brochi hanom a ya boa brochi memu Ghana papa bi be kasa esanko de sa bullet plane train be hwe atem didi ankosiafo no didi no. Mama Gloria, brabe hwe atem didi efuomufuo no. Omo beye empa depa. Brabe hwe papa we as a whole engineer wono aboa United States of America. Thomas we obekasa wo Ghana no. Or say hello from Paris. My brother Paris, comment ça va? J'espère que tu vas très bien. Very good. Welcome.
Well, sir, Obika, I say from Arabia, Niger, Shanghai, and Timbuktu, the history is there. Well, that is modern history. Now, if you have to go back to what we call antiquity to understand, say there were the original empires of the West Africa. It was then called the Western Sudan. The Western Sudan, there were people there. There were natives there. They were born there. There were people who were there. I'm talking now the year 200 BC. So I am talking about 2,250 years ago. Okay? Before Arabia is Arabia. Before Niger is the Niger. See, you are only applying modern history based on the artificial country demarcations. But I'm
And
talking antiquity. Into antiquity, no?
what when
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And when
And
you're
doc,
talking modern
indigenous
history,
way are
but
okay.
uh,
Indigenous way are okay. India, they just discovered a group of people. Utimi nso omo na omo ye indigenous people no. Omo ye
yeah,
tuntum, omo ye
yeah,
mpumpuru tuntumfo na yesi omo pe kube pa nso kube nsi island no so. Na se
that's
oba
it.
omo anhwe omo bekum because they are not part of the civilization. Omo dwane ye emra na akono. Nti ohwe a nkofo bi kura hyehye nwura mu wa yenya the indigenous people bi hyehye wa yenya hu omo. Ah, omo
Mm,
wa Africa because India just found one.
yeah.
Ah, omo ye tuntum.
Now, China also discovered, China also, they found out there are indigenous Afro-China, they call them the Afro-China Chinese people. They are indigenous people. Yeah, one more
Mhm.
China. Yeah, one more year before say yeah.
Look at
So,
that.
and because once we continue to study, you don't get stuck in a particular place. And like I say, penny for say sankofa depa. You have to
Mhm.
go back to search to find out your roots, because so what the obroni modern history now what the no that nonsense education now obroni no no, if that's all you know as your history, then you are lost. You have to go way beyond that into the depths of our ancestors livelihood before obroni ne baye. Ante saa, you will be lost. So ɛnnɛ Canada sɛdeɛ wɔrekan aborɔfo no sisi a wɔn hu sɛ nokorɛ indigenous people no, they actually own this land, and our ancestors came and did harm to them. So now they are trying to do a lot of reparations to the indigenous people. It is happening in Canada. It's beginning to happen here in US. It
Okay.
happened in
Mhm.
Australia. It happened in
Yeah.
New Zealand. It happened in all these different places. And there
Yes.
are indigenous people in each land. And you want to mean Kase, we all migrated from somewhere. I'm saying say there are indigenous people there, and I can tell you say the Dagbon people are one of the indigenous people in Ghana. If you don't know it, go and study antiquity of the lands before it became Ghana, before it even became Gold Coast. You have to understand that.
Obviously, yeah, Mommy Gloria said, but they are all dead. Did they die with their children too? They have ancestors, so and then Obroni cry go back, oh Mommy Gloria, Obroni go back, Ako Tracy. And so yeah, Nana Kanswa, the fourth generation see back. So they all didn't die at once. They are indigenous people. Omo wu no no mo ma obi o wu kura no na ne ba eda so num nufu. O wu no na akola no eda so num nufu. Akola no so be wo ye. E no no so ewu no na ne ba ba ko so enam we or say no one holds a monopoly over knowledge. Yes, that is so true. It that is so true. We are learning as we are going along. I've taken a little bit from everywhere. I watch Discovery channels a lot. Even Omukura scientists, they don't know it all. That is true. So what it is, they say, a krobia so no na a nipebiti hoda dansa no be
That's it.
eba beto. So
That
the doctor can say
and I feel
indigenous
so.
people no mean
And I think if you go back to even Roman history, a lot of Greco-Roman history points to certain areas of West Africa that were people encountered. And in the diary of Henry the Navigator, this is 1425. I'm talking 1425. So that time, the only way they could navigate from Europe all the way to Africa is to come all the way west and then go round to the south and then go back again. By 1425, there were established towns and kingdoms in Western Sudan. which is part of where Ghana is today. And I'm not saying say I have a monopoly over knowledge, but what I'm saying is say deepen your knowledge. Okay, don't just confine yourself to the modern history that you know. Deepen your knowledge. Go back and study and read. Now,
Yeah.
there are a lot of museums. Unfortunately, we don't have much in Ghana, but there are a lot of museums in Europe and the United States and Canada and Australia that you can begin to discover what is actually the truth of history. And African historians and anthropologists, Wamada Wurma, and you find out to say a lot of arts and crafts and artifacts at war Europe, France, Belgium, UK, Germany, Holland, they were all from Africa. Initially, Abrofuna Dada say it was theirs, but through the work and the study and discoveries of African anthropologists and historians, we discover that these things did not belong to them. It belongs to the nations that were in Ghana before even the first European set foot on the continent to trade. And they are beginning to release some of those things back to the African nations. And I don't say I have a monopoly of knowledge, but what I'm saying is don't limit yourself to just modern history. Try to go deeper than what you know so that you can have a deeper understanding of who you are and where your ancestry is.
Yeah. That's the doc. Prudence, my sister, or say, I want to enlighten the history about Ayigbe when listening to you. I called my uncle. You see, Obi, yen problem, ayewo as Ghana for no. We are so many from different places, we never agree with people. And I said, we don't want to come out a gentleman who spoke so eloquently, so vast in Ghanaian history, because of friend. You see, the fear they put into Ghana for no are robbing of so much. The fear, and this Akufo-Addo government, they are the pillar, they are the notorious people who put fear since 19 Kwame Nkrumah era. And yes, no mo kunkum painful bebre di koshe jeje nyama bebre sisi yeah. The first woman who brought ashikishan, which is flower, ewo Ghana. No, ka Kwame Nkrumah regime no ho krampo no yakọ poison no wasantememu. It's a bit sweet, it's a bitter, it is a truth. Whether we like it or not, it is the truth. Into yeka, into Ayigbe no, or say Ayi is Gan's name. Yes, we know that. But how it became the Gan name, the history behind it is what we are trying to say. But we know it is a Gan name. Even it is not the Gan. It is the way for now. When you say Gan, no crabo can Gan. You are talking about group of people. So the Gan no crampo, ya wo nunguafo, ya wo nungofo, ya wo teshifo, ya wo hwan for inti. Mami Gloria, the history is deeper than the name. So I said, the name came out of some event. And I yedi to the Ghana phone to the Gano at to the Sani can say now the history is between 1672 and 1680. Ayi was part of the Accra people who arrived in Greater Accra. Yes, Ayi was part of the period. So he was the king. But all bano, you see, the history will be catching me. Oh, we enti ya den krano bano be wo kwem. Omo di ni funu na be du Accra ho. Mami, that was the history. Into omo kan say Ayigbe na be tete omo ya Ayigbe for.
I don't say history, no.
I need to find that person.
Part of the variations in the story, is say, Yabua, Mr. Yabua, Omeki, he said, European road books. How many books have Ghanaians written? Okay, it's true. Ancient times, we had oral tradition. Even the Bible initially was an oral tradition before it became written down. And
Yes.
initially, it was oral tradition, but also written. But during the captivities and wars, kingdom wars, and conquerages, a lot of townships were burned, things were destroyed, and so on and so forth. So we lost a lot of ancient literature that were used
Yes.
in Africa. Now, Nientia and some of our anthropologists and historians were able to discover authentic, original African artifacts from 1,000 years ago, is because there were writings on them, and they
Yeah.
found some of these patches of writings in on paper in museums.
Mhm.
So they studied them and found out, if these are African writings, then those writings that we see on these sculptures and things must belong to Africans. And so they started digging into that. So it doesn't mean that Africans didn't have documentation, but there was. But most way of communication was by oral tradition and also by singing. Tama miswano,
Mhm.
menana, so person otu yenfo or the nyum to any tufo, or to nyum, ano de tu yenfo. Menana, me mami, ayigbeni, angurani. Or say bibi sa si efia obaya magbaba na oditufo. That is how she used music, as a way of communication. So enti ohia a krobofokra, they do that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
experienced them. Say wahu enti krobofo, ganfo, ewefo, they
Nkurɔfoɔ
were all one, and Yorubas also, they were all one people.
in
So
one.
now, yes. Now the
Yes.
variation is that because of the oral communication, some people hear it differently. But one thing historically we agree on is that wɔn soma ayi na di kan baeɛ, na nti nkrafoɔ no ɛreba no wɔn esuma sɛ wɔn mebisa ayi sɛ asase no a wɔn anya no wɔn betumi abɛka ho bi anaa, ɛna ayi sɛ daabi. Nti ɔsɛ wɔn nkɔ kan kyerɛ nkrafoɔ panyin no sɛ ayi gbɛ, ayi sɛ ɔmpene. Into I'm a woman metra
Oh,
into they should find a different place to stay.
oh,
Never home.
okay.
And into
Hey, Ghanafoɔ yɛn story no.
part of the people who stayed in the
So
south, Keta to the Gan people, no. It's a clear. He said they told them to go more south, because if you see Gan, it's a little bit south of Keta. In the original sense of the history, say Ayigbe, Papa Ayi, or say there he refused to let the Gans stay on their land. He told them to move forward down south to find their own. So
yeah,
that is what
nea yɛbo a ɛka no ɛyɛ ampa, because say, you see, and this is where we need to point to. There need to be more history written, because and then we live in the information world.
yes.
America being America, the agriculture, they started with agriculture with black people, with young ancestors, and call into agriculture, and dua nnuane, yɛn nana cotton field ne nneɛma ɛne nneɛma a yɛyɛ ɛwɔ America hɔ, ɛna go into cashew, because say na efuo no ɛnyɛ, the cotton was eaten by some. I read the history about the southern part na cotton no, it made them rich. And gyaa hɔ, ɛna call into the industrial world, and then we are an information world. We need to teach it, like what our brother Yebua Ekano, not just orally. We need to be able to put things down so our
Right.
children can read. Because
Yeah.
obit is hopeless adoye one kind. Can you believe say asantini ka kire me say onim say igbefu okra eka e wo Ghana until say yede bus yede omo call baby e call we voter region and okaka say ha ye Ghana na, but he lived in Asante for so long.
Yeah.
I said me ye kroboni obi bisa na krobofo kro mo firi fa oya Asantini Ashtown and ye wo no ko school onim. But because of trading, you know, some of them has been able to made it into the city, mingled and with the rest of the Ghanaians. But not the majority of them live in the bush. Ebi
Yeah.
and Pia Montaigne or Kraman who let that dog out. Hopeless Adoye. No share form ho akwebiba a oni osoya igbeni onya igbeni onka ye ho onka his no onya Ghanani. I don't think so. Also, historical event must be written, documented. It must
That is true. I
be,
agree.
brother
And
Yabua,
so
on. Okay?
I,
Yeah,
I, I agree. I know that I agree. And until at this time, no, we are putting things down. We are beginning to write things down.
yeah,
Because abrofono, most of the European history actually, was African history that was subverted most of the time. And then call a BBC channel. Even I think you can even find on YouTube now. Okay, the original Africans in Britain. You get there's a BBC documentary on that. So even before Britain became Britain, there were Africans there. How did that happen? Because Africans were traders. They were trading silk, they were trading cotton, they were trading silver, gold. So they went. And now, one more erect monument be our southern Sussex, southern part of England. They erected a monument to honor an African woman whose remains were found several hundred years ago, but
look
was
at that.
tucked away somewhere. Recently, and a British anthropologist and archaeologist decided, said, let's try to figure out what these remains are, whose remains are this. And then when the scientists put it together, they found out, said, she was an African. So that was there
Yeah,
thousands, over 1,000 years ago, even before slavery and all that kind of stuff. And
look at that.
they realize that Africans have spread all over the place because we are traders, we are adventurous. So gathering and hunter, no, it is fabricated a year. Abrofono edia to us, they were hunted, and then an American historian anthropologist was say there was no such thing as Bronze Age and Silver Age because based on archaeological findings near Adeno, the people lived 3,000-4,000 years ago in very sophisticated ways. And it is true because up to another year, say engineers, modern scientists and engineers cannot figure out how the Egyptian pyramid were built. They can't figure it out. So too, they cannot figure out
Yeah,
how the Aztec monuments in Mexico were built. They can't figure it out. So, because these are sophisticated ways of building that were utilized thousands of years ago. And now we are beginning to discover, say, and Noma Bibria, Abrofono, Achurono, they were all subverted. Me in particular, I had to face the board of educational critique in England, in Oxford University. Now, almost Argentina, me Makoka say, a very well noted historian and religious writer, your friend, Victor Turner, that I criticize him, say he just made things up and published things and made it sound as if say it is genuine, because he wrote a lot of derogatory things about African traditional religion. So I challenged him. In fact, my thesis
Okay.
director refused to even allow me to put that in the dissertation, because he said, no, 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 no. This guy is a well-known historian and anthropologist and so on and so forth. But I'm saying, no, I
Yes.
still want to prove, say, he lied, because you can't say these things about Africans and go scot-free. And I
Yeah.
use church history. I use church history to actually disprove him. Say, there was already Christianity in Africa in the 1st century, even before Christianity went to Europe. And I use St. Augustine's writings, which they accept. Well, St. Augustine's writings, which is accepted as a well-written, but what they don't realize is that St. Augustine is an African. They thought he was a Roman living in Rome. He did live in Rome, but he wasn't a Roman. He was African in Tagaste. Tagaste used to be part of the Carthage Empire in North Africa, which is today Algeria, where Tagaste is today's Algeria. And I was able to challenge and to bring facts before they accepted for me to write that dissertation. I think I showed the book to you the other day here on the so, and we are beginning to publish, to bring things out, to let the truth be known about our continent, about who we are as Ghanaian people. Now,
Okay.
back to the issue, Hopeless Adoye, unfortunately, these are people who don't have knowledge. These are people who are ignorant about the traditions, the history, and the heritage that we have. Nano sene yɛka no, nkurɔfoɔ bebree want to find value in themselves. Instead of looking at their self-worth, they are looking for
Yes.
value from the outside. So they think, say,
Yes.
mede me ho kɔbɔ nkurɔfoɔ wei mu a, I will feel valuable. And then by
Valuable.
that, they try to put other people down. But it goes to
Yes.
show, say, any human being who tries to put another human being down is a very insecure person and has no self-worth. That is basically what it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
Enti Ghana
Exactly. Exactly.
technical say obi a yawo wɔ Ghana woka Mosio, woka Himfa language. The language doesn't define you, it's a way of communication, but who you are as a person, where you were born, or where you naturalize, you decide to live as a human being, to play your role in the universe, you are a citizen of that land. Nti
Nyame
obi a
nhyira wo.
wɔte Ghana nnɛ, yɛ a yawo no wɔ Ghana, yawo ne papa wɔ Ghana, anaasɛ ne papa ne nanam abɛtena Ghana akyɛ a yawo no wɔ hɔ, ɔyɛ Ghanani. Wontumi nka sɛ
Ghanani.
kasa a wɔka no ɛne wei no ɛnni ɛbrɛ nti no ɔnyɛ Ghanani. The Ghana was not made
Exactly.
by certain language speakers.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that kind of language, that kind of talk, that kind of nonsense, a idea actually say you are ignorant, you are a very shallow person, and you have no self-worth. I'm sorry to have to say
Yeah.
that.
Self-worth. No, it is true. Language does not determine that you're a citizen of the land, because Yema can go back to Ghana and claim as a Ghanaians, but they don't speak. Many of them don't speak Tree.
They
As
don't
long as,
speak the
and
language.
many Ghanaians. Is exactly. Many people. I have a friend. She's a guy, and anyway, she doesn't speak the language because she didn't buy her at the age of 5 years old. Her parents hating themselves so much, embrace the stop the children from speaking Gan or Ewe. Now the children don't speak any of the Gans or Ewes, but yet when they speak, you can tell say omo ye Ghana for maame for amotete abrochime mu chiri mu ho obi te say adoye o chiri ni kuro so much say o de ne ho kobo ekuo no ono ba be ka kire just to find me fan say we be value in himself through outside people, through being a part of a gang, through being a part of pimps. Anyway,
Yeah.
bandits, no money no more can no. Of course, ene or no ye Ghana ni obi. Ene doctor through education, any back histories. ye be chiro book say hey em say a 2-page book kra ye be chiro say 3-page kra say ye chiro say Ghana mamre e wo book so ne ye wo library ye bo a o say Ghana ni library it is true mo no mo fufu mo wo we mo ntimi chiro Ghana ni timi gina ho e bo mu te say kraman te say de ye bo mu hwe ni paper so obo mu wie pepepe inframa te say tan abetwum ko obia ensua hwe mfiri mu. I was even hoping to find Mami Dokuno Bribi by the fireside. Our internet is so who would take Ghana for. We don't preserve our history.
We don't write. We have to write. We have to write. A Providence was say. So a delegation was sent from Accra to go for the stool, and Aye refused to give the stool. Okay, and yeah, that's one who said the story is basically is the same, and the stool, no, because when you are carrying a stool, you need somewhere to put the stool. Well, and part of the was that they needed to land somewhere to put the stool of the king. And I said that so you can go south and find your own land and land your stool over there. But it all has to do with land, because it all has to do with land. Ancient times, and Tokwabia was about the land. Either say Obahu and I say assassin. So it is very, very, very deep. But by summary, it is basically about land history. Even though it also has to do with we want a place to land our stool, but Aye refused to allow that. Because why did he refuse? He doesn't want any rivalry, territorial rivalry. Because I also have my stool and I have my land here. So you go and find your land and land your stool over there and reign over there.
Yeah, Mommy Gloria say I would love to join. Mommy Gloria, anytime, please. May young Crawford, you see, there are so many things people know. We can patch them together. You see, history is taken from different angles of how people practice things, and that is history. History is how we practice. When you're reading American history, Canadian history, it is a patches of how the French and the English, the Anglos are so many different ways of speaking the French. When you go to Quebec, I'm in Quebec right now. When you're talking, you can tell. Say they are the Anglo-Saxon. There's an Anglo-French for no, what the typical, what African French, which is the French. So Ghanaian history, as we're talking about, ayi history. No, obia what different part of it based
different
on what.
Versions. Yeah.
It's based
but
on
the
what
truth is that there was Aye.
There was Aye.
My class teacher na St. Mary's na religion. Anna Obeka say me was say it was said in the Bible that Jonah swallowed the whale. And seriously, no. It was the whale that swallowed Jonah. So it became a back and forth. We said, who swallowed who? Was it Jonah who swallowed the whale or the whale swallowed? And I said, well, it doesn't matter. The fact is there was a swallow.
There was a swallow and Jonah was there. Jonas was there and there was a whale. So somebody swallowed somebody.
Somebody swallowed somebody.
I say, thanks. So, mommy, mediama, no tampa so hono. Nyankopon shira mo nyina, Nyankopon shira mo.
Amen.
We need this more. Ye hia abakosem say pa na yemfa tete Ghana ne yema. Because saying enne no obi sorry or say obi ye Ghana ni wunya Ghana ni go back to your country. Hey, oburoni bi ka kire obi ye kwache no. Obi ka kire obi ye command one ye kwachiro warning. Police for command warning. Police for no mo command warning no. Omo so mo ye Canadians, Indian for count India no kro chiro ade no kra man no kra ho ye nehi cause ono so fi India ne baaye. Who is Ghanaian? Who are the Ghanaians? The indigenous of the land. And You have learned something new. I have learned something new. Me jidi say, wo betwa so na wahu wo mu say, usumbo, you are worth more than trying to claim and trying to put someone down just because they say you feel worthless. And ne hopeless adoye akyerɛ yɛn sɛ ɔyɛ hopeless ampa ɛwɔ Ghana hɔ. Na Ghana no yɛ mmabunu ɛhwɛ san kɔtena ahoma naa so bi ɔne dada frog, mommy frog a ɔmu ɛspiele hateful slurs. This should not be accepted in Ghana. This should be made into a law. Say, wow, be country obi Ghana ni ba. Either so ye pepeni, or ya igbeni, or ya kroboni, or ya we asantini, da sifu wine no be do Ghana first you in Krenio wine be do first Kurana. We both came and claimed. Said they also be do Canada. I was a citizen 21 years ago or Canada. Obi so jeni di enra. Obi beje ni de 10 years ago. Obi nso kura na wa apply. Do I have the right to Obi kura de wo no ha? O ba be ka kire hwan so ye citizen and so onye citizen. Enuanom a wo hwe yen. All of us we are Ghanaians together. Anaconda. That is what we are going to claim. Wakonda. Etuntumfo tete amanso atoto apete. They are still trying to find some grounds to belong. Now, what Ghana? Yeti yanya sa so yen nananom apre ho bi. Onu a wo hwe me say ye wo de. Say we are MPP nti yes nkrofo bi nye Ghana for na wonti twi nti no wonti mi chechire mu ya. When you say Ghana, when you say Mosi, when you say Ghana, you are speaking to the language is embedded. It is a language that we need to learn because a place is not the singular because the place contains many things and many people. The place. So you can't say only we Abraham well, and your pride does not even give you the opportunity to come clean. You see how you've been robbed because of politics. Only a wo hwe me nyankopon hira mu nyina doctor nyame hira. I've rest my case ye be hye ye ho, but would you have any last word before we go?
Yo, and ni ampese mi say Ghana for no yenyai nyiyimu na ya no ana we ye ayigbeni ana we ye akanni ana we ye hwan ye nyina ye nipa ba kasa ye ka no enye no ana de nsuniye eba yentem wo yare ne de ukoto hospital ne yesi uhia moja yankase kohwehwe akanni moja because me akanni na ye de ahyeme yankase anase kokohwe hwan ebia na opepe ni moja kra ene umoja na yepe ebia na ayigbeni moja ene umoja na yepe eno ene de bema on wanyankwa enti no sa surface differences no and mama yemfa no and create differences among us eno na ekuye no because mekai say in 2004 na me ye adwuma ewo Norfolk General Hospital of Virginia as a chaplain, assistant chaplain. Na obaby abrofu bi womo ba no okọ university na one na Ghana ni ba bi nso ekọ university, the same university Virginia ho. Na ode ofa Ghana ni no adamfo na nti womo ma kwan no ana obisa ne papa so na damfo yi ofri Ghana na oni ebusani bi anti opese ode ne ba fie na wofo ne se daabi nti womo mpe obibini bia ewo mu fie ho nti in fact eye ne ya se wontimi amfa because ode na kofie ho pen ɛna ɔyɛ no ɔsɛ daabi ɔmpɛ bibini bia wɔ ne fie hɔ enti wampene ama no amfa n'adamfo no ankɔ fie ɛnkyɛe biara ɛna ɔbɛyareeɛ ɔbaa no bɛyareeɛ na yɛde no kɔ hospital ɔmde baeɛ no na Satan na mewɔ duty nti wɔn check ne yɛ exams ne yɛ no wɔn sɛ ohia bone marrow transplant nti na ward ɔmde bɛto yɛ no wɔn assign name that in that ward during that 2 weeks every 2 weeks piano we rotate na nti n'abusuafoɔ ne namfonom aborɔfo no wɔn nyinaa ba abɛ test nobody matched na damfo Ghanani no wɔte sɛ ɔyare na ɔno nso ohia bone marrow nti ɔba hospital hɔ sɛ ɔno nso ɔba abɛ test ahwɛ sɛ ebia na there's a match nti ɔbaayɛ no na wɔn bɛfrɛ me na me hyia no nti me ne kasa no so madamfo no nti mpɛ sɛ mekɔ test na msi yo kɔ na kɔ test ampa nso ɔkɔyɛ test no na ɔne no bone marrow no it matched so both of them were taken into surgery and they did the bone marrow transplant ama ne hotono ama ne nyankwa because now doctor said without that no she was going to die within a short time when we say bibini na was so bibini na pen when fie no ono emom ana ne ba no bone marrow ene ne de match a wabe donate as my making me say obi say me say because I was there as chaplain and I witnessed it so nipa no we shouldn't be creating this kind of difference and mafe abro abaiwa no na ne mama ne papa no omo ani ewu say poto na fe na so you are now like our second daughter our home is your home and if I hiko see him this kind of things, you know, we shouldn't be creating this kind of differences. Ye nyina ye nipa baako. Enti yempe subanpa na yemmo obrapa na emfa nindie ene nkoso emra ya brabom. Ni ye santity mu no a eno na emase ye nkoso da. Yes. Ghana. Enti you know, we should learn to have that self-worth. The self-worth that you must have is that you are a human being first and foremost, above everything else. You are a human person. So let that be your background of functioning in this world as a human being. Not that you are Aigbe or you are Asante or you are what. That doesn't matter. Because Sabi, a moon for a woman kakasa krano, they are alive and they contribute to the universe. So as a human being, you know, learn to contribute to the universe as a human being and fulfill your purpose. Ti medamu nyina ase, medase ohema se ene yasan abehia na ya di sa nkutahui. Ehu hia na yentete kanafo e wonindie mu. Medase. Yemfa sidan so ma twedi ampon obo ade nyankopon. Damu nyina ase.
And what's in Kano or Washington. Or an anthropologist at Washington, so he knows a lot. I mean, until Washington he actually goes deeper or Ghana with religion, you know, and na my friend just to tap into the wisdom and what he knows and what he has got to gather. Or England, UK for home, Judea, Nama, my doctor, I caught two moton, and na way or the America memory. Also, I call Ghana as I say, Medina into a cow America. Ghana until you a position place to want more for yourselves, until you position yourself to the higher calling of who you are supposed to be, until you position yourself to a place where you grade yourself in a high esteem. You see, high esteem meaning you are bringing people with you to the top. You see, you don't leave anybody behind. When you grade yourself, when you say give yourself a mark on a paper, how do you grade yourself? until then, we are always going to get rid of the good things on our land. Nyankopon hyira mo. Ɛha de nhyira yɛba ha no mo a yɛnkɔ ne kwa, because we come to sow a seed. And every seed, there is one who has to make sure say ni ogugu so no. So what you say? Yes, the sower, obrekwa. Nya ya beke nyina nto aso. Enti ene Nyankopon nadom. Nyame a nananom omo ba wo. Nananom omo ni honam. Na omo pese omo tiri mu po. Ene omo nyansan mu, ene omo nimdie. Eda di ewa asase so. Omo kasa kira wo na se wote a ensuo so na wosi dan. Emipo mu na wosi dan. Emipo so aboɔ so na wosi dan. Sɛdeɛ kromo a omo kukuru wohwɛ dan bi wɔ hɔ a wo kura na wo yam ahye wo sei. Aliens bi na esisisi hɔ ana. Wo se nananom no mbesisisi hɔ a unnim se nananom de nneɛma bi miensa na de hye wo mu no, and then nananom nneɛma miensa. Nyame agya, nyame oba, nyame nkronkron, which is the spiritual aspect of you. Tumi a ekura wo wodi ndie dua asase we so a efifiri wo mu ema obi ehu a ose nyame ahyira wo ye nhyira enne saa asam no entena wo mu saa huhum na mpagya wo ewo kwan foforo so ne a wati ene enye enso aba ewo wo mu foforo na se onipa hu a onhu as an industrial as an agricultural and information. Ene ne atoato aso a ye kwa discover nyina ene Nyankopon onipa dasani onya wo from so na obeprumu obema nsuo aba wo mu nsu kono ena ebeba wo mu nyame nya wo saa ewie nyame nya wo kese kakraka ukasa amanfo Nyankopon nya wo kese wate prudence nyame nya wo kese nana nyame nya wo kese haj Nyankopon nya wo kese omie wani. That's a ubia se Korea na ukanya ubia mu a mysteries enyi ni wadi nkyerɛ wo se ukura Bible mysteries ewom enyi ni wadi nkyerɛ wo eniama Nyankopon di ahentan ewa asase so a wo wani wa we nkote na betimi ama na enyane wani wa we na betimi ama asase we eso aye fe Nyankopon mie wani wo ma wanwoden foforo na fasi abotan so edan. Na yehu say you have arrived. Nyankopon hyira wate. Nyame nya kese wate. Nyankopon oma omunye duduruduru. Oma omunye dudurudu. Oma se ubie wenu a be se aboa eagle. Okoriye. Nanso okoriye edumre bi a ese okọ change ne ho. Nyankopon ma utumi a edumre ese se okopa ahoden fof na watu akosi baby a not even we ant betimi atua wo ho nyame ma woni a omo hunehuna wo omo mbeze omo ensi omuti ase omo nkoto ade bia ye mipo wanim emipo emre ne ho ase ose nipa na efuru mipo enipa oni emipo emfuru nipa nyame ma utumi omo wahoden na fa furu mipo fa trump over all those things. May God bless us. Gana hiam so we are all one. Minia me yonko maninko echire na ye hia ekasa sei edi odo ne nkambom ena ebetimi ama Ghana etumpon na yenyi ekohini ama ewo Ghana no e mane nya wo de wate memfa party emfa nto ho so ha party ni ya developed word that yehu nyina party ni ha. There's no party, there's a nipa that's a first. Nyankopon manye yenye kese. Nyankopon hyira. Oma wa hode me wate. Okay. Amen. Na fe de share video ni yanko. Ene mi ni mi fi ontimi ni mi nyanyo mo ma. May God bless you all.